Welcome, my people. On side here with me, Joshua Holotu. Yebedin Komo. It's all about the transfers that are going on in the market as we speak. And Nyama Bibri Ekosu, over the last 12 hours, right, there's been controversies concerning the Yond Monday deal. I'm bringing you all that exclusive right now. You will understand exactly what is going on between the two clubs. And the fact said, there are quite some discrepancies concerning the transfer fee that has been agreed between the two teams. But before Yebeko a discussion, so maybe subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications. So me drop a video, you're going to be one of the first people to receive it. We can build a successful community over here, and we'll always have the football discussions. And you can also express your opinions. Sharing in the comment section. What has been your favorite transfer so far? What are expectations for a new season at Airba? The respective clubs are on preseason matches. So what do you think the teams are going to do, and what do you expect to see? And Nyama Bain, our favorite coaches and all of those things that are happening in the transfer markets. And just leave it in the comment section, and then we can also have that discussion as well over there. But young wasted time, Crown. We are going straight into the transfer market because maybe why I was say a trade to Mukakra. Enuna Ebetu that was according to Fabrizio about 12 hours ago around 7 p.m. Enuna, where he said there was a here we go between RB Leipzig and Real Madrid for a player from Yond Monday, but he didn't put out the specific figure, a transfer fee a Real Madrid for a RB Leipzig for a Yond Monday, and that has raised a lot of questions, a lot of concerns and discussions happening on social media and Nasifo. What I can tell you for a fact is see and say, Yond Monday will definitely move from RB Leipzig to Real Madrid. But the thing is that RB Leipzig sometimes they can be very stubborn. They can be very stubborn in their approach and how they negotiate their deals with respective clubs now. Signing players. And that is not something new. If you look back, you'd realize that there are a couple of players in the past that when they were being signed from RB Leipzig, they were very, very stubborn. Normally, they would want you to meet the release clause of the player. Look at players like Joshko Gvardiol, Wabra Ofriho, Ako Manchester City. Look at players like, Xabi Simons. Xabi Simons as well. Yes, Xabi Simons. Wabra Ofriho, Ako Etoriam Hotspur. Even the time, Timo Werner, free RB Leipzig to Chelsea, they were very stubborn. You need to meet the release clause before they even have certain negotiations with you. But at this point, Yond Monday does not have a release clause. Time World Cup in June, it was speculated, say, PSG were willing to place a €100 million bid for Yond Monday. So that was where the whole 100 million discussion started from. As to whether that bid was submitted, that's a discussion for another day. But Real Madrid decided to meet that asking price of 100 million for Yond Monday. They couldn't have reduced it, because then it means that you have devalued the player. RB Leipzig, they will not even have a discussion with you in the first place. But what happened was that Real Madrid decided to table that 100 million bid to just get to see whether or not RB Leipzig would budge. And what happened was that RB Leipzig said, no, that 100 million euros is not enough. And almost maybe to quote for more and ask for more money as the transfer fee for Yond Monday. And I said it on Saturday. Real Madrid for election to choose their new president. Florentino Perez, originally, he made a certain statement. He made a campaign promise. So when he becomes president, he was going to ensure that Real Madrid were going to make a marquee signing of 150 million euros. RB Leipzig were saying that if you had made that promise, then perhaps this is the time to fulfill that promise, because our player who is 100, million that you have submitted a bid for, we don't want to accept that. We want more money. Of course, now negotiations around 120 million euros, but that was how RB Leipzig, or the strategy they were using to request for more as transfer fee from Real Madrid. So that was a very smart thing for RB Leipzig to do. They just spotted the fact that Florentino Perez had made a promise like that. So they wanted to use that as a means, as a bait, to get more for the transfer fee of Yond Monday. But it looks like at least the negotiations got to a point of 120 million. Nothing is confirmed yet. But the fact that Fabrizio Romano, Edeba Bonting, say the fee was well over 100 million euros without specifically quoting the fee is what is raising the questions, because Okoshe David Ornstein and so David Ornstein is trying to be very, very particular about how he releases information about this particular deal, and that is what is making all the controversies. Into Okoshe David Ornstein, ne post na omiki, that was about 10 hours ago, and you can see that that was just 2 hours after Fabrizio Romano edited to Abontin said, here we go, between the two clubs. This is what David Ornstein said 2 hours after that here we go post by Fabrizio. Or say, Real Madrid expected to sign Yond Monday from RB Leipzig. First bid rejected approximately 10 days ago. Second bid, which was 100 million fixed or 120 million package, was set to be rejected, but agreement likely soon, which means, of course, the deal is going to be over 100 million euros, but it could also be well over 120 million euros, because a Biana 120 million euros will be rejected, according to what David Ornstein is saying, but an agreement would be reached, which means that definitely whatever happens, RB Leipzig and Real Madrid, they will meet at some point, but the likelihood of the money exceeding 120 million is there. But what is happening right now is that Yond Monday would return to RB Leipzig and now pay for training to start his preseason with the club as well. And this is what David Ornstein said. And then you see there's quite some inconsistencies between their Orca and the Fabrizio Romano so Aircan. So that is the situation right now. The deal could exceed 100 million. That is for sure. But according to David Ornstein, it could be 120 million package. In the end, say be 100 million fixed fee, and then there could be add-ons. But one shake that 120 million that consists of the add-ons, it could be rejected. Which means that by the time the deal is over, it could be averaging 125, 130, somewhere around that region. And that is what David Ornstein can, and that is not the same thing as Fabrizio Romano can. So you can tell that at this point, nobody knows the specific fee for a Yond Monday deal. It will only come out when the deal is completed. And for all you know, I'm sure they could just announce the transfer as a transfer for an undisclosed fee. And that is not a new thing. In the past, say two teams, M% figures to create a certain impression, they would end up closing the deal behind closed doors in terms of the transfer fee and all the other add-ons, and then it could be discussed, or it could be, declared as a transfer that was completed for an undisclosed fee. But at this point, I think the transfer fee cannot be hidden because of what has come out and what is expected. And I think definitely, when you look at Fabrizio Romano, the main fact that he often has those discussions and collaborations between the agents, I think definitely we'll get some information from there, and then we will see. But the Fabrizio Romano it is quite different from what David Ornstein can, but only time will reveal. Because definitely, if Fabrizio is saying that the deal is well over 100 million and he's not specific, it raises questions. And I think those are things that here amount for very concerned about concerning Yond Monday deal way. Until let's see how it goes. I think you bring more updates in the coming days, in the coming hours, Krana, about Bonting, exactly how much Real Madrid are going to pay for RB Leipzig. But I wouldn't be surprised that Real Madrid will have to pay something above even 130 million. I won't be surprised, because with how stubborn they are, that is something they are capable of doing. Because Yond Monday, he doesn't have a release clause. Yond Monday doesn't have a release clause on his contract. So they are negotiating based on how much they think the boy is worth. And at this point, they are going to determine it. 19-year-old player going to cost over 130 million euros. The market is gone, guys. All right, into a higher onside with me, Joshua Holot. Now, there are other stories coming in, right? But also, news are Airba, and they say Vinicius Jr. Is exploring a deal to sign for Arsenal from Real Madrid. Of course, Mourinho is not willing to let his big players go. But with how Arsenal are ready to pay Vinicius £400,000 a week, it looks like a deal that Vinicius Jr. may not be able to turn away from. And with Yond Monday coming in at this point, it tells you, I'm sure Vinicius Jr. will consider leaving, because if a 19-year-old player has come, of course, Vinicius Jr. will be, I think, 25 or 26. you would want to look at it from a different angle. I don't think say Yond Monday comes in to replace Vinicius Jr. necessarily. Ebi ana enye like for like deal a yemfa say ebi ono no ba ono Yond Monday buy means that Vinicius Jr. has to go. Vinicius Jr. has been a star performer for Real Madrid for a very long time, and he's a very very integral member of ASR team way. And I don't think say Jose Mourinho with how he wants to fix the team would want to see a player of his caliber and his influence to leave the team at this point for a rather inexperienced Yond Monday in a Real Madrid. The pressure and what it means to play for the Los Blancos. No, he doesn't know yet. Until you cannot just say, okay, it's a Vinicius Jr. But Yond Monday by means Vinicius Jr. has to go. That may not be a very good way of handling the situation. But as it stands now, Arsenal are ready to pay £400,000 a week for Vinicius Jr. Now that £400,000 a week, no, if I have to calculate it, right, £400,000 a week, £400,000 a week, right, multiplied by £400,000 a week for a year, right? The total amount, so that's averaging about 20 million and over pounds per year annually in terms of I'm pretty sure say a bear the gross salary for a year Vinicius Jr. to join us now. And I think that is a very, very heavy amount of money. Already currently, Vinicius Jr. is earning something around a year 15 to 18 million euros net per year a year Real Madrid. And so if he has to move to us now and he's going to make 20 million pounds and over, it's about 20.8 million pounds per year. I think that is a very, very hefty amount of money that he would make into the way and also, and I think said that was going to be a very, 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 very good deal for Vinicius Jr. But it depends, because as at now, it looks like Arteta has sanctioned the move, and across all the levels of Arsenal for hierarchy, they agree and they see that deal as a potential deal that could materialize. But it depends on Real Madrid now, and then the club-to-club conversations about the transfer fee and as for. And I think in the next few days, we will see something come out of there. So, and also a free a year Real Madrid for Australia and Arsenal for Australia Eba. And let's see how that goes. But the other deal that is happening, Fabrizio Romano edited to and he said, Ayyoub Bouaddi. It looks like the player has had conversations with Air Manchester City to agree in terms of a transfer from Air Lille Metropole of France to Air Man City. Now, he's reporting that Man City remain in direct club-to-club talks with Lille for Ayyoub Bouaddi deal. Negotiations ongoing with player and club sides as Man City remain the most interested club in Bouaddi. Decision to make Ayyoub Bouaddi to join now or in June 2027. And also your idea AB and Lille Metropole for would be able to agree with Manchester City for Ayyoub Bouaddi. Manchester City are making a lot of deals. Already why deal for Abrantia and Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest for £116 million. And Siwa, they want to make more signings. Ayyoub Bouaddi, after World Cup performance for Morocco, I think he has become a player who is sought after because of how versatile he is, how direct he is, the way he's able to win the ball, the way he's able to carry the ball. I think for a Moroccan national team, Abra World Cup, and that is something that a lot of players do not ordinarily have, and is a special talent for a player of his caliber. You'd want to hedge your fortunes on him to be able to have that sort of future that you want. And Man City at this point, you can tell that for sure if Rodri deal is able to go through for him to move from Manchester City to Real Madrid, they would need a replacement. And that replacement could be Ayyoub Bouaddi, because Oman at that time, he'll be able to, give you that returns. Maybe not exactly how Rodri does it, but Oman AB at 2-3 years as a developing player who is coming into a club at a time where they have a new manager in Enzo Maresca, I think is a very good deal. And I really don't know Omadrin concerning how Ayyoub Bouaddi would fit in. But even if they're not able to do the deal now, I'm sure I'll be next year. So I think a lot also depends on how that Rodri deal goes, and maybe we could get some updates from there. But Rodri deal, no, I think the latest with Rodri's deal is that there has been that form of agreement between the player and the club, but it's still left for the club-to-club negotiations. So there are a number of things that are going on in the transfer market, but as it stands now, it's quite unclear how some of these deals are going to shape up. This was 2 days ago, right? David Ornstein to just say Real Madrid are working on a deal to sign Rodri for City Club, not yet in talks, but midfielder wanted to move to Spain, and I've already said it a couple of times. I think it will be clearer in a few hours where we get to understand and know whether or not the two clubs are having negotiations and conversations for the transfer of Rodri Hernandez Cascante to Real Madrid. And that could be very, very interesting over there. More transfer stories, but Niehiano Ena Ababontin Sisia Media Tuja. Bradley Bakula is also in the news because he is getting closer to joining Liverpool, getting very closer. He has rejected contract extension talks with PSG and has made it clear, very, very, very clear, say opposite or joining Liverpool. So in the coming hours, I think there should be improved negotiations between the two clubs. And I think that before the week ends, I think Bradley Bakula will become a Liverpool player. Until we'll keep our eyes on that one as well. And then we'll see what happens over there. This has been Onside with me, Joshua. Hello to Mr. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications. As I drop a video, you'll be one of the first people to receive it. And until I come your way with more transfer stories, stay blessed and see you in the next one.